Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with a very quick winter scene painting tutorial for you by request. And if you're looking for something new to paint that's a little more complex, this is my latest tutorial that will be available in my shop, Lindsay Stamp Stuff, over at mygraphico.com, probably later today, maybe tomorrow. So I just want to let you know that in case you feel like painting something springy, because, oh, I am ready for the spring weather, that's for sure. Alright, so what we're going to do is, we're not drawing anything first. I've clipped just a greeting card, watercolor greeting card onto my cardboard, foam core, what you want to call it. And I'm going to wet the top half of the paper, just with clear water. You could paint this down, you could tape this down as well if you didn't want to have it buckling at all. But for a card, I think it's fine just to clip it. And then I'm going to add a little lemon yellow, which is a cool yellow, because I want kind of a cool look to this. And I'm adding that right next to where I started to wet the paper. That's going to be our horizon line. I'm going to get a little crimson, Aliz.Crimson, because that is a cool red. And I've added quite a bit of water to that, and I'm going to add that kind of on either side. See how watery it is? It's very, very light. I got a little hair in there. There we go. Rinse that off. And I'm going to take a little ultramarine blue, and I'm going to mix that with some of the crimson on my palette, and I'm going to add that in. And I just want to let it blend, so I'm just going to kind of tap my paper around and see, get some nice soft blending going there. A little bit more of that in here. I'm going to add some, this is going to make some clouds, but you know, they're going to blend out a bit, so I want that nice soft look in the sky. And it's turning more gray than green because I have that blue mixed with the red to make a purple, so that way I can go over the yellow area and not end up with green in my sky. So what I'm going to do is dry it with my heat gun, and then, well actually, you know what, while that's drying we can actually work on the bottom of the card. Just making sure I have it clipped out to the edges as much as I can, so I'm not in the way of my base here, and I'm going to wet the bottom of the paper. We could do that while that's drying. Don't come right up to the sky, because then it will bleed, and we do actually need a difference in color because we're going to have this kind of icy pond, and we want to make sure we have a little distinction there. And you'll see why in a bit. I'm taking the ultramarine and I'm going to add that up to the top on its own. It's a nice nice blue. It's quite neutral. It probably leans more towards purple than anything, but it's fairly neutral. And then in this area in the middle, I'm actually going to recreate some of the colors from the sky. We're going to have some ice there. There's going to be a little opening in the ice, but we're just getting our basic colors mirrored in here. We'll add the detail of the ice in a little bit. Add a little bit of that purple. And if you do dab on some clouds, just try to somewhat mimic what you have going on in the sky. Maybe a little crimson in there too, since I put that in the sky. Everything is super watered down though, because I want it to be very soft, and we're gonna have some silhouettes in here, it really makes the painting easy to do, and it's very pretty. I want to add a little more of that crimson over there where it is reflected from the sky. Alright, now I'm gonna dry it with the heat gun, and we'll be right back to finish it up. Okay, the picture is dry, and it does dry a little bit lighter, as you can see. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be kind of cutting some, just putting this kind of rocky line here. It's actually going to be the bottom of some trees, and I just did that with the flat brush because I like to mix my color up with a flat. And then I'm actually just going to pull up some stalks, tree trunks, and just kind of throw them in a random way all the way across. I haven't been talking too much today. And then I'm going to add some little bristles, just kind of by dancing my paintbrush up and down here. Remember, this is just a greeting card. Don't worry if it's not perfect. It's fun. It's, you know, I love to start the day. Actually, I'm finishing the day with this because I have a little bit of time before the kids get off the bus. But a project like this is really great to start your painting day because there's no expectation. It's just a greeting card. You know, if it comes out great, wonderful. If it doesn't, oh well. You can always cut it up and turn it to bookmarks or send it to a friend and forget about it because, you know, I'm sure, you know, even if you don't like it, probably anyone else would love to have it. So that's the thing. You're super critical, but usually your friends and family are not. They're just, you know, thrilled to get something handmade. But I really just love this. You know, it's a great way to loosen up. Look at that. All I'm doing is just wiggling this brush, using the chisel edge. I'm using the corners. I'm using the tip. I'm just kind of going back and forth and making some trees. I used a mix of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna for my black because I don't like to use black from a tube or gray from a tube because I think it's kind of I don't know, just doesn't have much character and doesn't usually match what you're doing. Now what I'm doing here is just adding kind of some rocks and just scragginess, and this is going to be on the edge of a pond. So I'm just gonna throw in just some shapes. They don't have to be specifically anything. Alright, now I'm going to go in with some ultramarine blue. Maybe just add a touch of that gray that I've been using and water it down. Now, sometimes you want to turn your work around just so you can approach something at the right angle, so that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm turning it around, and you'll want to turn yours around too because it's going to make it so much easier. And what I'm going to do is put the contour of my pond in here, kind of where it's meeting up against where it's meeting up against the bank. I can add a little bit of that gray. The nice thing about this black, too, mixing up this black, is that it's a very liftable black because you have sedimentary colors, and makes it really easy to get in there and fix and lift if you need to. Alright, I'm going to take this round brush with some blue with a little bit of that gray that we made, that black that we made, and I'm going to make kind of like where the ice is melting. It's getting too thin for ice fishing. Let's start to melt out of our little pond here, and I'm just making some random little squiggles that will kind of separate the iciness from the open water. And I'm here throwing in some blue that's got a little bit of that gray on from my palette to make this kind of icy looking. And I could throw a little of that yellow in there because the ice would still reflect our sky. Yeah, we're still in frame. Oh, I was afraid I pulled that. I was afraid that I pulled the whatchamacallit thing I'm painting on. Paper! Yes, that's the word I'm going for. I was afraid I pulled that a little close to me and then you wouldn't be able to see it. Ah. Alrighty, let's add, I like keeping that in the blues. I think I do want to put some of these tree shadows into the ice though, but I want them to be bluer. They're definitely going to take on the characteristic and color of the ice, so a little bit bluer with those. And I'm looking at this tree and I'm making that shadow. I'm looking at that tree, I'm making that shadow, and so on and so forth, but just doing this in the icy areas. Since I have that gray mix in there, it's not turning my my yellows to green. So that's the only thing. I just want to make sure I don't end up with green in here too much. So I'm just going along, and as I'm pointing with my finger, you can see the tree that I am emulating in my little shadows here. So, you know, it's just a little fun thing to learn about reflections. And let's see, I want to redefine my little line where the bank meets the edge of the pond meets my little snow up there. And then I want to color the snow a little bit so that it's going to be separated a little bit more. I feel like there's not very much definition there, so I think I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of that purple that we mixed with Aliz.Crimson and Ultramarine blue, basically because I just need a definition. It's just too much the same. So I'm just going to kind of wash over everything. Just go gently because you don't want to lift up your rocks, but I just feel like it needs a unifying wash. And there would be shadows in there anyway because the light source is in the back. So that works. And also by having that purple color, it unifies everything. And of course, if you're just watching this and then you're going to paint it later, you can actually sketch out this little piece and not paint it. And then you could color it whatever color you want. All right. And I think for the water in here, we definitely want more defined reflections. So I'm going to go back into my darker black. I'm going to lift out some of that black that's bleeding into my snowbanks there. This is just a used, well, it's a tissue. I want to say used tissue because I didn't blow my nose on it or anything. It's a used tissue as in I used it for blotting at paintings a little while ago. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm going in with that dark color that I mixed with my ultramarine blue, my burnt sienna. I gotta make a little bit more, so that's what I'm doing over here. There we go. Well, I'll show you my palette in case you're curious. There we go. See? There's my mix. And you can either do this with the with your flat brush, or you can try it with the round. I'm going to do it with the round here. I might switch over and go back to the flat. Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like it might be hard to get that same look with a different brush. But I find that I can do almost anything with a round brush. I really, if I had to just choose one brush, like when I go painting out and about, I will generally just bring a round brush. I feel like I'm very stuttery today. I'm not sure why. What to do? I haven't been, it's probably because I've been painting all day. I've just been kind of zoning out, catching up on some TV and painting pictures. We've only used 4 colors. I really am a strong believer in limiting your palette, because then you'll end up with you'll end up learning a lot more about color for one thing, and then you'll end up with a more harmonious picture. And I'm just going to throw in a few of these guys over here. They're kind of shorter than the others, so I want to make sure I don't go too crazy. So again, I'm, kind of, sometimes it helps if I point at it. And let some go right off the page, because then that will give you the thought of it, blah. I'm having a really hard time talking today. Did you ever think that would happen? I'm having a really hard time communicating. Good grief. I actually have a degree in communications. That's just sad. All right, and then I'm going to go in and redefine some of the edges where the ice meets the water. I think I'll use a little bit more of a blue mix here. Lost and found edges. And if you want to throw some birds flying, you can do that. Still in frame. You could do whatever you like. It's your picture. And I feel like I want to kind of maybe put some little grasses coming up out of the out of this little bank area here. And I'm going to do that with my with that same gray mix that I've been using. Hopefully it's dry enough. Just throw a few in like that. Hope you can hear me. I'm just like very quiet today. I totally getting a different yeah, it must be the right brain or left brain, whatever that side is that takes over and makes you incoherent, or lose track of time, or just be all creative. Yeah, I'm just mellow. I'm mellow when I paint. There we go. All right, I gotta look at this right side up for a second, just to make sure it doesn't look too horrible. Yeah, well there you have it. I just want to make sure my shadows go all the way up to the icy area. So I'm looking at it, and you know what? Sometimes it helps if you look at your work upside down. If you normally paint right side up, I normally paint right side up, and just not for videos. So if you're thinking something's not right here, what should I do? Look at it in a mirror or look at it upside down, and I guarantee you'll be able to tell what's wrong with your picture. Also, one of the best things you can do is to walk away. Is to when you're done painting, just walk away. So it's really, if you have children, it's really easy because, you'll get distracted by something else. They'll need you for something. And then when you come back, it usually looks so much better. I'm going to put my initials right here, I think. LMW14 for the year, and then that's all set to send to one of my friends. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below and I'll help you out. And give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I'll have also a link to my shop down below if you want to see where you can purchase that tutorial to paint the bird. It's a PDF printable tutorial with a pattern. And yeah, thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe so you don't miss another video. And until next time, happy crafting.